Good morning. Welcome to Ag Talk and Raw, where I talk raw about agriculture and other things. So this morning I was perusing through the Facebook and I came across a video, which I don't generally get rattled by this stuff at all. You know, I'm not rattled at all, but I don't get offended by this stuff at all. But and I'm not really offended by this guy either. It's just the level of stupidity that comes from people that have no idea what they're talking about is just, it's uncanny. So this guy's name is Joey Carbstrong. Joey Carbstrong video. What the heck is yeah. So apparently he's a vegan or a vegan wannabe or vegetarian, whatever you want to call it. And I never understood why people that don't like to eat meat have to be so crazy. You know, if you don't like to eat meat, don't eat it, right? If you think that farmers like myself and others around the world are cruel to their animals, and you know, killing an animal for human consumption is cruel, well, you're godless. That's for one thing. You don't understand in Genesis how it talks about the animals on earth are for humans to consume and whatever. That's just the way it is. Now, I'm not going to get into the biblical aspect of it, but somewhere, I'm sure it's in Genesis. It may not be. I don't freaking know. I can't remember. But Noah didn't put all those animals on the ark to save them from the flood so that he could watch them in the wild. Those animals were there for a reason, to repropagate the planet after this flood that had happened and eat them. You know, bring all the animals two by two, you know, male and female. Yes, male and female, not male, female, him, they, thy, whatever the frig you guys are, coming up with these new gender neutral weird shit. But whatever. So this guy goes on to take some video clips from obviously another YouTuber. I'm not sure exactly who it was because I don't really watch too many channels. I'll peruse through the agricultural channels. I like Mike Less. I like, Big Tractor Power. I've met both of these people, how farms work. I do watch a millennial farmer video every once in a while. Zach is all right, bales hay, that sort of thing. When it comes to George Saunders photography, and of course Mucka, you gotta have Lord Muck in there because he's quite a talented YouTuber, underrated as well because he does a lot of really cool stuff. But anyways, this Joey Carbstrong, that's what it is, Joey Carbstrong, he comes on and he takes these pictures or these videos of animal husbandry, if you would say that. And there's, the one that really started to annoy me about this particular guy was there was a video clip of a little kid, maybe 2.5, 3 years old, and there was a cow sitting there and she was leaking milk, just before she goes in to be milked in a parlor. If you've never milked cows, you wouldn't understand this, but generally a cow will let her milk down when it's time to be milked. It's just the way it is, and they will start to leak all over the place. So you can bring the cows in from outside. We always milked in a stanchion barn, or I did. Milked in a stanchion barn, and the cows would come in. Nobody's leaking milk. None. Not at all. None of them. But once you start milking them, you would stimulate them by cleaning off the tits and getting that all, prepped for the milker to go on. And once you stimulated the cow, that's when they would start to leak. Well, anyway, this guy, he sexualized that, and that's the ignorance coming through with these people. They don't understand that farm life is very different from the city life and the places where you come from, or where most people come from. Farm life is a very simple life with complicated things that go on every day. But, we do things very differently in the country than these people in the city do. And the things that appall them the most are generally the things that they don't understand. So as an ex-dairy farmer, we quit in 2011. I didn't really milk the cows later on in my career. I helped my dad. I didn't really care for the dairy. I was the field man. I went out and cut the hay, made the hay, planted the corn, and sprayed and did all that stuff. My dad sprayed too, and he, of course, obviously, he worked in the fields as well. Some of the more favorite jobs that I had on the dairy farm were chopping corn silage, planticide, if you want to call it that way. Planticide. But the animal welfare was always at the top of our list of things. Now, sometimes you'd get an unruly cow and a stick would come out and you would persuade her into the stanchion or whatever. And sometimes usually a young heifer. But for the most part, animal welfare was at the top of the list of things to do. They had to be well cared for, stress-free, and just really taken care of like you would take care of your own children. You had to. You cleaned up after them. You put fresh straw down. And this guy goes on to take these videos and in an ignorant manner criticize what was going on in these videos. Now, the little kid that was opening his mouth as the milk was shooting into his mouth, that's something that probably every dairy farmer or dairy farmer's kid has done ever. Just the way it is. I can remember cleaning the cow's teats off and then squirting it to the dog. And I remember, it's a sweeter tasting milk than it is after it's cooled. If you have never had warm milk right from a cow, you don't know what you're talking about. And teaching children to work on a farm is very important, very, very important, because it gives them a work ethic that will carry them through their entire life. No job is worth doing if you don't give it your all. And most of these kids that were being shown in these videos were young. I mean, they're 3-4 years old. They were doing menial little things, scraping up poop, and most cityites or city folk would be appalled by even going near excrement, then the farmer says, this is really, it's hard work, but we love it. And he begins to pick it apart. Well, farming is not easy. It is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. More people, it used to be number one in fatalities and farm accidents happening on a farm. And I could see very easily how this happens. The other day, I was out picking up a load of rye, and I met a man at the mill, it's a seed company, where I bought this rye seed, and he walked really funny, like there was something really wrong with his legs. Well, there were. When he was 17 years old, he got his legs and one foot and his other leg tore off in an auger, a farm accident. And at 17 years old, that's kind of a common age for things to happen like that. Just about a man, and you get complacent with things that you've dealt with all your life as a child and on up, and sometimes you do things as a kid that you would never do as a full-grown adult because you know the consequences. So, but to criticize them for the way they're taking care of their animals and saying, oh, this is just scripted, British agriculture, scripted. It's not scripted. It's universal, worldwide. Every farmer or rancher, they take care of their animals because they know that is part of their livelihood. No different than this Joey Carbstrong going out. His camera, if you were to take his camera and drop it on a table, he would become very upset because it may or may not damage his camera, and it may not perform the way he would like it to perform after you dropped his camera. See, because without a camera, nobody would even know who this idiot is. So that's the same way with an animal. If you're a dairy, beef, goat, sheep, whatever, llama, alpaca, chicken farmer, and you do something that is damaging to the animal, that affects your bottom line and the quality of the product or the meat that you are going to sell or the milk that is produced by the cow and the goat and whatever else you're milking. Oh, can't forget horse farmers. Don't ever hit a horse. Oh my God. Every horse idiot on the planet will say that you're crazy. So, but whatever. But again, it's just all in the bottom line. A camera to this guy is a cow to a dairy farmer or a beef farmer. And if you do things that could hurt them, like ram them into the gates with a four-wheeler or a horse or whatever, and you could have a broken leg. Well, it takes time to heal. That animal's not going to gain as quickly as, say, the animal that made it through the gate without the broken leg. And you have to nurse that animal. The vet comes out, costs you hundreds of dollars, and you have to nurse that animal back to health, and it takes another 3 to 5 months to get that weight gain back up there. Well, that's 3 to 5 months of feed and hay that you had to give to that animal to get it to market weight. And most of the times when a cow breaks its leg, it goes off to slaughter anyway, because the cost doesn't outweigh the benefit there. So, and again, you take this guy's $30,000 camera and drop it hard on the ground, and he can't make a video. It costs him a lot of money to get the thing repaired, or he has to buy a new one so that he can spew his ignorance all over the internet. And yeah, so back to the vegan side of this thing. Why is it that vegans, and vegetarians are one thing, but vegans are a whole new level of weird. They are in your face. If you're out there eating ice cream, you're eating cow pus. If you've ever heard that was a PETA thing years ago. If you're drinking milk, it's cow pus. Cow pus. Well, again, there is a level of white cell or somatic cell in milk. If you didn't know. So you have to have healthy animals so that level of white cell or somatic cell is low, or you get docked, or even you don't get the premiums, you lose money. You don't get the, or you can get rejected. Like, hey, there's too much somatic cell in this. You need to get, there's a cow with an infection somewhere. You need to get that cow figured out and get her out of the tank, because we won't buy your milk. Or they'll dump it and then you just don't get paid for it. And that does happen. Cows can go out into the barnyard and become injured if there's, they become injured. They're just cows. The cows are like 5-year-olds, They're rambunctious, always pushing the limits, finding places that they shouldn't be and getting injured. And, that's, just the way that works out. So you have people like this that just really don't understand the ag industry, and they don't look to understand the ag industry or the animal husbandry industry. And with that, they just spew their ignorance because they don't want you to eat meat. Well, that's okay. I don't rail against vegans. I don't care if you don't eat meat. The only time I will stand up and talk negatively about a vegan is when you come across somebody like Joey Carbstrong here, and he's just, oh my God, that little kid, what the F is he doing? I hope they don't have any video clips of what they do, sexually towards those animals, because that would be child abuse, And he goes on to stuff like that. Like, you know what? I've been around a little while, and I've seen some weird videos where men and women have used vegetables in an inappropriate way. I don't see anybody that eats meat standing up and saying, hey, don't use that cucumber that way or whatever. You get some really messed up people in this world, and I don't go looking for videos like that. I had a friend of mine, and I had to tell him to please stop sending me those clips. And he did, but I was wondering why he would do such a thing. They weren't him, but he was sending me video clips of people playing with fruit and vegetables in an inappropriate manner. But, isn't that illegal in the presence of a child as well? And I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a video of animal abuse that way, but maybe, no? Can't say I've ever looked at something like that. But anyway, yeah, there's just some crazy people out in the world, and just educate yourself, man. Before you criticize, educate yourself and realize, is your criticism going to benefit your life positively, negatively, or is it going to do anything at all other than get social media attention? So it doesn't benefit him positively and people like him positively. He thinks it does because he has social media attention. I've been on social media for 15 years. Been doing YouTube for since 2008. 2008, October of 2008. So what is that? 14 years. I watched and I did Facebook and stuff like that before this, and so holy cow, you have this desire to put your face out there to become social media famous because you can make a lot of money. And this guy's no different. I mean, I'm looking at a picture of him right now. He has his Joey Carbstrong label at the top. He's got a Animal Guardian shirt on, so I'm pretty sure that he is, that is his clothing line, and that could go both ways. As a farmer, I could be an animal guardian, right? I could say that my cows are guarded against the bad things that they can get themselves into, and right up to the day when the hammer hits them in the head, and they become food for, I don't know, 50 people. It's Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, Arby's, Hardee's, and all these other Jollibee. These companies do not exist because people don't eat meat of some sort. They flourish because they have, well, I can't say it's cheap anymore. They used to be cheap, fast food. You can be driving down the road and you could just pull in, a window opens up, the food comes out, and you're on your merry way all within like 5 to 10 minutes. Cheap, fast food. They do offer an Impossible Burger at Burger King. I've never had one. I've seen too many people gag on one, and I just never felt the need to go and buy something that's made of plants to mimic a piece of beef. I may as well just go get a piece of beef. And that's the other thing. All of these people, all these vegans and vegetarians or whatever, not all of them, but the vast majority of them, they want to eat something that mimics a piece of meat, whether it's a crispy chicken sandwich. There is a company that makes plant-based crispy chicken sandwiches. Well, it's made from a mushroom, I guess, and that's fine because I'm in the mushroom mulch business, and I'm all for that. They can make chicken-flavored, chemically treated chicken-flavored sandwiches out of a piece of mushroom, out of mushroom bits. I'm okay with that. Same thing with the Impossible Burger. But why is it that vegans and vegetarians want to buy a product that resembles a meat product? Does anybody ever think about this? It's like, well, I'm going to go get a spicy black bean burger. A spicy black bean burger. I had a girlfriend for years, and she would eat spicy black bean burgers. I tried one time. I'm not a spicy kind of a guy. I don't like spices. If it's hot, it burns going in, it's going to burn coming out, and I do not enjoy that feeling. So I do not eat spicy anything, really. A little bit of black pepper is probably too much for me. I used to eat that on my eggs, but I can't anymore. I just don't. But why do vegans, vegetarians buy products that are in the shape or form of a piece of meat unless they secretly want to eat meat? Or is it a fit-in kind of a thing? Like when they go to a barbecue, hey, I'd love to come to your barbecue, but can you cook these vegan hot dogs and these vegan burgers and these vegan chicken wings and vegan this, that, and the other thing? Anybody that goes to a picnic and there's a vegan there, they accommodate them the best they can. Think they're weird? Yes. Do they criticize them? Not really. Just like, oh, you brought your own food? For sure, I'll flip it. Yeah, but can you keep it away from the meat because I really don't want it to be contaminated? So that's when it becomes annoying. But whatever, it's fine. But if you know what these people are, and it's fine, you know, they have this warped sense of reality. I'd like to know what they would do in a situation where they were very, very hungry. You know, like very, very hungry, and there were no cucumbers around, and there were no spicy black bean burgers, and there were no, but there's a cow standing in a pasture or a deer grazing in the field. Do you honestly think that any of these people that criticize the way animals are taken for slaughter to become food for people across this whole great nation and world would just say, oh, no thank you, I'm going to starve to death so that that animal can live? If that happens, literally happens, I would love to be there to witness it. I really would. I did actually watch Naked and Afraid, and there was a video, there was one of these Naked and Afraid episodes where there was a vegan, and her partner was very prolific at killing stuff. He could catch fish, oysters, and things like that. She finally got hungry enough that she ate whatever it was that he had killed and caught, because she was hungry. And that is my point, that all these you know, animal guardians, animal warriors, when it comes down to it and you're hungry enough, you will eat snails, snakes, lizards, fish if you don't like them. You will eat anything. Meat eaters, we already eat anything. You know, it's like, oh, I see a snake. Let's cut its head off, grill that bad boy up, peel that skin off it, and eat the meat. I would. Wouldn't bother me in the least. I can also go and take a fruit off of a tree or whatever it is that I want to eat. I'm non-descriptive. So, and I don't criticize these people. I don't care what you do. And if you think I'm criticizing you now, I'm not. I'm just bringing awareness to any vegan, vegetarian that's actually watching this, that just maybe if you kept your mouth closed and do what you want to do, you're not going to change anything. You really aren't, no matter who you are, whether you're Joey Carbstrong or any of these other people that are just like him. You're not going to change the fact that animals are raised and slaughtered for human consumption every day. It's been going on since Adam and Eve. Yep. If you don't remember, Eve took the bite out of the apple. It was it was a fruit that caused her and Adam to be expelled from the Garden of Eden, where they couldn't want for anything. They didn't want for anything. They were just told, don't eat the fruit from the forbidden tree. And of course, the serpent had convinced Eve to take that apple, and Eve convinced Adam to take a bite. So, if I remember right, I'm pretty sure it is. That's how it went. But whatever. Such is life. These people, they're not going to change anything. They really aren't. They're not going to change my mind. I watched a video recently where this guy was eating barbecue, and there was a woman screaming at the top of her lungs, and he's just enjoying his barbecue, and there's another guy filming. So it's no different. That dude that was filming this girl losing her shit over this guy eating a shish kebab or whatever it was that he was eating. You need to put that back on. Come here, you. Put this back on. So she wasn't doing it because she thought she was going to change this guy's mind. She was doing it for social media, popularity. You know, I'm going to be famous on TikTok. And she's screaming at the top of her lungs, and some fool is there videotaping. You know who the hero was in that video? It wasn't her screaming foul, profane language at this guy who's enjoying his shish kebab. It was the guy that was sitting there eating his shish kebab. He just kept right on eating like, you know what? I could punch her in the face and go to jail, or I could just really get under her skin and enjoy my lunch. And he did, and he was the hero. So changing people's minds, you know what it made me want to do? It made me want to go get some shish kebab. And it's only in first world countries. It's not in, let's say, the Philippines. If Filipinos don't want to eat meat, I don't know any of them that don't, to be quite honest with you. But you go to a third world country where food is scarce and the people are thin, and they're not worried about vegetables and meat as being good, bad, or indifferent for you. All they're worried about is filling their stomachs up so that they can live another day. It's called survival. Only in first world countries will people try to food shame you over your choices in cuisine. Not nowhere in a third world country. As a matter of fact, I don't even think that would be tolerated in a lot of countries. You know, only in countries where they feel that they can, food shame you or whatever. Don't go to a country where they don't have the food abundance like they do here in the United States. Food abundance in the United States. There's kids that go hungry at night because their parents don't have the money to go down to McDonald's and refuse to go on to welfare. There's plenty of food here in the United States. Just go down to Walmart and tell me that you don't see a bunch of people that have more than enough food to eat on a daily basis. And yeah, their car is all roached out, but they've been to McDonald's at least twice that day, or Burger King, or Wendy's, or Hardee's, or Arby's, or wherever they go. They don't cook wholesome, whole foods, really good stuff. They don't. But in a third world country, there's no vegans. I mean, there might be vegans. There might be people that prefer vegetables, but you get hungry enough, you're going to go, you'd kill that goat, you'd kill that sheep, you'd kill that cow, you'd kill that llama, you'd kill that horse. You'd eat it. You would. So, anyways, Joey Carbstrong, get smart, get educated, educate yourself a little bit about how animals are cared for and the consumption of those animals, and how, of course, the end is death. I mean, you're not going to live forever. I'm not going to live forever, ever. Go watch the movie Soylent Green, when the food production in the country was inhibited by pollution. Soylent Green is an old movie from the 1960s or early 70s, and you will see that people can even be consumed. But there you go. Thanks for watching.